I'm Tom Grossi, a New York City comedian and diehard Green Bay Packers fan for almost 20 years.
In the end zone, it is caught for the win. Richard Rodgers with a walk-off touchdown. A game ender for the Packers.
In 2015, I created a podcast where each week I talk to fans from opposing teams to share their story and to get yelled at for about an hour for being a Packers fan. Last year, I met amazing people and went to amazing places. And this year, I'm ready to do it all over again.
Make no mistake about it, I will be remembered as a Packer.
Enjoy the show. Grossi Posse Packer Nation! Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't need to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Grossi, and I am in a fantastic mood because not only are we coming off a Thursday night win over the Chicago Bears, but the Minnesota Vikings have lost. And it is, oh, happy days. The once seemingly invincible team has fallen to the Philadelphia Eagles, which means I am just one game closer from not having to wear a Brett Favre Minnesota Vikings jersey. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in the very beginning on week 2 of this season, I made a bet with Gregory Daniels, our wonderful Vikings fan, and by wonderful I mean god-awful, made a bet with him that if the Packers lost the NFC North, I would have to don a Brett Favre Vikings jersey, and if he lost, I had to pick a Packers jersey of his choice that he needed to wear. I'm sorry, of my choice that he needed to wear. So, a lot on the line here. So, obviously, this is kind of a big deal. So, fantastic that the Vikings wind up losing, but before we even get to the Minnesota Vikings, those Minnesota Purple Eaters, let's talk Green Bay Packer football. Well, first, 26-10. Let's talk about that first half. That first half was terrible. It was just bad football. I mean, it made me cry. It made me drink. And I was just overall not very happy. And talk about the first half, nothing could get going. Randall Cobb drops 2 potential touchdowns. Really ugly stuff. Really unable to connect with Jordy. Ty Montgomery, of course, filling in for an injured Eddie Lacy and James Starks. Niall Davis, I think, got 1 carry, the guy we recently just traded for with the Chiefs. So the first half is brutal, but one of the first plays of the third quarter, you see the Packers fumble, the Bears recover for a touchdown, and just sadness, and a third whiskey. That basically what that equated to. But not giving up, Rodgers really decided to put the team on his back. He throws 3 touchdowns, 39 completions. He's 39 for 56. 39, of course, is a record as well. 326 yards. Rodgers winds up really picking up, have a great night. Ty Montgomery, who, by the way, good on you, Ty. I tip my fake imaginary hat to you, my cheese head to you, if you will. He has 60 yards rushing, 66 yards receiving. Ty Montgomery really got it done when he needed to. Randall Cobb could have had a much bigger night. He's 11 for 93, had a touchdown. Could have had 3 touchdowns, which would have made me 1 in fantasy last week, but alas, no worries. Davante Adams, though, which I mentioned this guy on the past few episodes. Davante is really starting to come into his own. He's starting to be that player that we drafted, or at least that we hoped to be when we drafted him. He went 13 for 132, 2 TDs, all record highs for him. And this is now a couple weeks in a row where Davante Adams has really been on his game, and he's been a really integral part of this offense. So amazing to see Davante Adams really start to flourish as a Green Bay Packer, and hopefully that can continue. The one, of course, mess spot was Jordy Nelson had 1 catch for not very many yards. That was a little deflating. But I don't know if it's a Jordy issue. I don't know if it's an Aaron issue. It's nothing that I'm going to completely blow up just yet, even though the NFL already is, and there was a big headline on NFL.com saying, is Jordy Nelson still elite? I think he is. It's just that he's coming back from an injury. He has to integrate with the offense, and hopefully, as I've always said, I would rather have a slow start and a hot finish. That sounds completely perverted. I'm sorry. But I hope that what winds up happening is this team really just kicks it into gear. We're 4-2, and we have a very tough matchup with the Atlanta Falcons, who just blew a lead this past Sunday against the Chargers. But we'll talk about that. Also, in other makes me want to cry news, Eddie Lacy is on IR. James Stark is going to be out for about a month. Niall Davis, of course, is got traded for a conditional 7th or 8th, was rumored. You also have the defense, which is completely banged up. Sam Shields is on IR as well. Hopefully we can get Rollins, Randall back. We need some actual corners so we can play football again and not have to worry about it. But you had some guys fill in, and they did an admirable job. It is still the Bears. We wound up taking out Brian Hoyer, so we were on their third string. But overall, I think the Falcons will be a good test. It gives us a nice extra week, it seems, to get healthy. So hopefully our defense will be pumped up and ready to go. So yeah, the Vikings though. Let's talk about everybody's favorite Vikings. Of course, Bears losing. The Lions wind up pulling off a win against the Washington Redskins. So the Lions have been picking it up a little bit, maybe something to look out for. But the Vikings are dealt their first loss of the season, not to celebrate too much, thank God. But they lose to the Eagles, in which was just a horrendous game. Both teams, who are usually extremely careful with the ball, constantly turning the ball over. Bradford didn't have a good game either. And maybe this will be a little chip in the armor. I would be very happy about that. I would not lose any sleep if the Minnesota Vikings started spiraling down into oblivion. But we'll see. In very serious news, though, an article came out today about Teddy Bridgewater and how doctors are still concerned about his NFL playing career. And no matter how much I hate the Vikings and we joke around with them, I really hope Teddy Bridgewater is able to play again, because that kid, he's got a lot of talent. He seems like an awesome guy, and he's really, really young. So it would just be tragic just for a freak accident to end his playing career. So thoughts are with Teddy, and really hope that he's going to be able to play. But very excited. This is going to be a really interesting week. We got an awesome special guest for you for our Thursday episode, who is a Falcons fan. Really, really excited to bring that to you. That will be out on Thursday. Just a reminder, just because I was getting some questions, every Tuesday, that's kind of like the game reaction video, is posted on YouTube here, and of course, as always, SoundCloud and iTunes. But the interviews are only posted on SoundCloud and iTunes. The reason I'm not bringing them over to YouTube, just because they're really long. I mean, they're usually the better of the two episodes, because I'm actually interacting with another human being. But they range anywhere from 30 minutes. We've gotten an hour and a half before. And to make that into a video, the rendering time would just be frightening and terrifying. So because of that, it's on SoundCloud. It's on iTunes under Packcast, Packast. It's completely free. It always will be. But thank you so much for tuning in. How do you feel about that Packers win? I know I'm excited about it. Hopefully we get another amazing game on Sunday. Really looking forward to it. You could always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com. That's TomGrossi Comedy, or at Tom Grossi Comedy on Twitter. Packcast, Packast, SoundCloud, iTunes. Every Tuesday we are here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for doing all the things that you do. Love you. Our viewership is up. I'm incredibly happy, incredibly humble as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on Thursday on SoundCloud and iTunes with our Falcons fan, in which it's going to be a great episode. Thoroughly looking forward to that. I'll see you on Thursday. And as always, go Pack Go.